Naruto descends towards the smoking crater he created with the super Kamehameha wave that he fired at B in his Baiju form. Oh man, I think I overdid that a little. I was aiming to knock him out, not kill him, he said as he landed on the ground with a concerned look on his face and dashes towards the crater. Don't worry Naruto, I can still feel B's life force as well as the Haki B's. It would appear that his partner's form took most of the brute force from that attack, Goku assured his apprentice, who also sensed the man's energy signature and sighs relief. He then hops into the crater and skids down the rocks before skidding to a halt. The smoke cleared, revealing B's tattered and smoking form, and the man was in a daze now. That attack was the B said in a dazed tone, resulting in Naruto sweat dropping and chuckling. He then slowly helped Killer B up and hoists the man over his shoulder, rising into the air and out of the crater. As he left it, he carefully placed the wrapping Jin Shariki onto the ground and reaches into his sash for something. Yujito came running towards them and stops beside Naruto with a worried look on her face. Is he gonna be okay, she asked the young Super Saiyan and got a nod. Yeah, he's just a little shaking up, Yujito-chan, he assured the girl, and he managed to pull out a bag that seemed to be filled with something. He shuffled his finger through the bag and pulls out a senzu bina. I don't think a shaka pill is gonna help him, Jugito stated, and received a chuckle from the blonde who inserted the bean into Killer B's mouth. What makes you think it is a chakra pill, Naruto asked. Yugito blinked a few times and was about to speak but stopped when she heard her second uncle chow down on the bean and gulps it down. There a pause of silence for a few minutes until B's brows rose up and he instantly flips back on his feet with a grin on his face. Look like I caught my second wind and I feel like I can take on 1,000 men. Oh yeah, B cried out, pumping his fist into the air. Yugito had look of astonishment on her face and looks back at a grinning Naruto. How was all she could say to the young Saiyan. These aren't chakra pills, Yugito, they're beans, but they are a special and rare variety that possess special properties which restore a person's full strength and also heals any injuries they've gotten, he answered back as he put the sack back into his sash. Killer B on the other hand was inspecting the damage around the area and whistled. Lowly man, big bro is gonna flip when he sees this, he mumbled. Yeah, we did do quite a lot of damage on the field, huh, Naruto replied with sheepish grin on his face. Quite the place, looks like a war zone, Yugito screamed in her mindscape, glad that it wasn't us because that attack would have done more than scorched my fur if it hit. Nibi informed her student. Speak for yourself, Mat 8 Tabi, that attack hurt like a Hakibi roared telepathically to his fellow Baiju. I've had my fair share of brutal attacks in the past, but that one takes the cake. I haven't been hit this hard since I got in that fight with Graham. Female Cubies named people 2 centuries ago. Suck it up, Juka, you only got your ass handed to you because you called her a who needed to get her ego checked, she remarked with needing attitude adjustment. Snicker while the hybrid snorted and mumbled about hot-headed vixens. Well, let's call it a day. Grab some grub and hit the hay, B said, letting out a yawn and cracks his neck before heading into the direction of where his vacation home was. Yujito on the other hand sighs in annoyance and folds her arms over her chest. He can be such a pain sometimes. I'm surprised Ankula hasn't killed him yet for his bad rapping, she remarked and got a chuckle from Naruto. True, but at least he's lively in some way or form, plus normalcy is overrated anyway and I'm used to meeting people like B. I would bet my tail that somewhere out there is a super pervert, a lady who's a chronic drunk and sucks at gambling, and a guy with a creepy fetish for odd abilities and little boys, he stated, resulting in 3 legendary ninjas sneezing at the same time and the outcome being one was being beaten to death by women in the hot springs, the other winning the lottery, and the last person chuckling in an eerie fashion that sent shivers down everyone's spine. Goku and Shinran's sweat dropped from Naruto's odd prediction. Your future successor is an odd one, Goku. If only he knew how true his prediction was, the immortal dragon states, getting a nod of agreement from Goku. Anyway, let's head back, Yujita-chan, Naruto stated, and that was when she leapt onto his back, wrapping her arms around his neck and legs around his waist, grinning in an excited manner. He then took off into the air with his passenger screaming in delight and heading to the house, telling him to go faster. B looked up and dropped his jaw as he saw his niece on Naruto's back flying over him. That's not fair, the monkey can fly but I'm grounded, I feel a tear coming to my eye, he whined before taking off like a blur across the field, leaving a trail of dust behind. B's vacation home. Naruto gently lands on the ground with Yujito on his back and she hops off his back with the giddy expression on her face. Killer B landed before them, panting slightly, and regains his breath. What I wouldn't give to fly, yo, he muttered before a grin formed on his face. Aside from that great match, Naruto, that was one hell of a thrash you gave me. I haven't been a situation like that since I faced the yellow flash. Naruto's brows rose up when he heard that you fought against me, not Onamika's. Before B nodded at his answer while folding his arms over his chest. Yeah, during the last war, and that guy was a pro in terms of speed, but from what I can see now I think you'd have him matched in that department, though I believe you were holding back when we spared. He noticed Naruto's eyes widening at the statement, but the man merely smirks. So you noticed, huh? Yeah, I did hold back, but mainly for your safety, because believe it or not I'm a lot stronger than I appear to be, since my bloodline trait enables me to grow stronger every time I train or fight someone stronger than me, Naruto explained to them. But how do you keep it under control? Yujito Yujito asked curiously. Naruto responds by clapping his hands together, causing an golden aura outline to form around his body, and then several odd seals appeared around his arms, chest, torso and legs. Gravity and suppression seals. I mainly use them as limiters to suppress my real strength so that I could enjoy fighting strong opponents, he answered to the vessel of Matabi with a sheepish smile while the seals faded back into his body. Wow, so how much weight are you currently carrying on yourself? Yujito wondered, as did be how much. Well, when I started training I wore a 20-ton turtle shell on my person since I was 7, and every now and then the weight was doubled, he answered, only to see their jaws drop to the ground and shoulders slump while Matatabi and Juki did the same. Say what? The Tsubaija screamed out. B was the first to snap out of his stupor and speak out. That's practically 200 tons. You've been training in Surugaki. Did you train under Kami? The rapper questioned. And they say Uncle A was a trainaholic, but he's going nothing on Naruto-kun, Yugito thought, with her vessel nodding in agreement while the teenage scion rubs the back of his head sheepishly. Well, kind of, he answered, getting a chuckle from both Goku and Shinron. So if I could ask B, does this island in peculiar have a connection with the Baiju? B raised an eyebrow but nodded yes. Due to some the ruins that have the hieroglyphics of the Baiju in their vessels, it explains that the vessel and a Baiju must be in sync if they ever wish to unleash their true power, but to do so one must face their inner darkness. One must face their inner darkness, Naruto repeated and pondered on the riddle. Any idea on this, Sensei? Goku pondered on this too, rubbing his chin in thought at Yujito's explanation and what it meant. One must face their inner darkness. From what I would guess, I think she means face that part of you that's affiliated with negative emotions such as anger, rage, envy, jealousy, hate and other negative feelings, which would manifest into a physical form based off these feelings, he explained to his apprentice. Naruto broke out of his thoughts and spoke up. So what you're saying, Yugi-chan, is that the person must defeat the part of them that represents their negative emotions, right? Yujito nodded positively at the teenage science answer. So basically anyone can go through this trial even if they aren't vessels, right? Again she nodded at his answer. Yes, regular people can go through the trial since doing so isn't forbidden, but if you are weak-willed and your negative emotions take over, then she posted her answer and a grim expression formed on her face. I see. Naruto thought about her explanation and wondered if he too had a darker side. He knew good and well everyone had a light and a dark side since no one was born absolutely good or evil, but if the person's emotional spectrum suffers more on the negative side it would drive them to their darker emotions. Are you thinking about using the falls, Naruto-kan? Yugito asks. Naruto nods and looks at her. Yeah, I am actually. I don't know how much my negative half will affect my psyche, but I don't want to take a chance of it getting the best of me later on in my journey, so yeah, I'll be using the falls. She stares at him for a little bit before sighing. Okay, but be careful, Naruto-kun, she asked with a concerned expression on her face. Worried about the young scion? Naruto smiles warmly at her and nods back. Don't worry, Yugi-chan, I'll be fine, I promise, he assured her. All that is so cute, my little kitten is concerned about her boyfriend. Matatobi purred in her vessel's mindscape, causing Yujito's eyes to widen and a blush to form on her face. For Kami's sake, he's not my boyfriend, damn it, she roared at the two-tailed cat who meowed. Naruto noticed the blush on her face and smirked. Is a certain cat teasing you again, he asked and got a nod from her. I see, and just so you know, Yugi-chan, I like you too. Yugito blinked rapidly at his statement. Huh was the only thing that could come out of her before Naruto did something even more surprising. He leaned forward and gave her a peck on the cheek before saluting and zips into the house, leaving a stunned Yugo at the doorway. The blush on her face grew while she touched the cheek that Naruto kissed. He kissed me, Naruto kissed me. The gears in her head got back to working and the grin slowly spreads on her face. Mate Toby giggles as she witnessed a chibi version of her vessel jump up and down, squealing in joy with hearts in her eyes. The next day, Falls of Truth. Naruto was standing in front of a large waterfall listening as the water crashed against the rocks on the bottom while a few fish were swimming into the mouth of the river that flowed downstream into the jungle. It's now or never, Naruto said before stepping onto the platform and sitting Indian-styled. Goku-sensei, Shinron-sensei, once I enter my mindscape I'm gonna have to ask you to not interfere. This is something I'll have to do alone. Goku nodded in agreement, as did Shinron, both being proud of how much Naruto has grown since his travels and knew that he was mentally ready to battle his inner darkness. We understand, Naruto, and I wish you luck. We'll move to a different section of your mindscape so that you won't be distracted. Good luck, the legendary hero said before the link between them was cut. Naruto stared at the waterfall intently and then closed his eyes in concentration in order to link himself to his mind from afar. Yujito and B were watching from the edge of a cliff, and said vessels each had serious yet concerned expressions on their faces, praying that their friend can succeed in conquering his dark side. Good luck, Naruto-kun, she thought while watching his still form. She felt a hand on her shoulder and looked up to see her uncle Sensei give a reassuring grin. Don't fret, little Yugi, the Surugaki will pull through and gain victory. Yujito says nothing but smiles as a form of thank you and turns her attention back at Naruto's still form, unaware that B's expression went grim. Kami, help us if he fails, because there won't be a force on earth that will stop him should his darkness win. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto opened his eyes to see a replica of the waterfall and didn't sense his senseis in the area. He stands and faces the waterfall waterfall, narrowing his eyes as he watched a shadowed figure forms behind the waterfall. His eyes widened slightly and he witnessed the replica of himself appear to look similar to him, but with a difference being his facial appearance. A smug and arrogant smirk formed on his face and his eyes screamed danger as they were more primal in appearance, and like Naruto his tail swayed behind him, with the last difference being the lining around his eyes were deeper like Majin Vegeta's were. So this is my inner darkness. Huh, yes I am, and I was wondering when you would show yourself. Yummy, Naruto answered in a deeper tone that carried a hint of arrogance, causing Naruto's eyes to widen in surprise. Whoa, you can read my mind. Oh wait, that's right, we're the same person, he said in a sheepish manner. Yummy, Naruto scoffs at his lighter half's impudence. No kidding, clown, we are one and the same, with the only difference being that I'm the real you, he answered smugly while Naruto frowned. No you're not, Naruto replied back to his darker half, who chuckled deeply. Of course I am the real one, I am the true representation of an ancient warrior race, one that was once known in the galaxy as the strongest to ever exist. Yummy, Naruto boasted while my darker half is delusional, he acts like that Vegeta guy Goku Sensei talked about. Naruto thought, so you know the reason I'm here then? Yummy, Naruto nods, but of course Elvu are here to defeat me in order to overcome your inner darkness, but it won't happen because I intend to crush my weaker half _ gain control of you and bring our race back to greatness, he declared. Naruto on the other hand scowled at what his darker half planned on doing if he won. That's not gonna happen as long as I'm around. Yummy, Naruto simply huffed at his response and folded his arms in a fashion similar to Vegeta's when he faced Goku for the first time. Then it shouldn't take too long for me to end. Maybe after I win I'll deal with that idiot rapper his village and maybe get some action with that cute blonde, and then maybe pay a visit to that russet-haired broad, I believe her name is May, or Haim as you call her, he said with a perverse grin on his face. Naruto's eyes flared up in anger. Like hell you will, because the only way you're getting to them is through me, and I'll be damned if I lose this fight. As he powers up, his hair rises and transforms into his Super Saiyan state. Yummy, Naruto simply grins at his other half, and much to Naruto's surprise he transforms into a Super Saiyan. Why so shocked? I possess the same abilities as you do. Why? Naruto states, getting a smirk from Naruto. I should have known better, but it doesn't change anything, I'm still going to beat you, he declared before getting into the camp stance, Goku's fighting stance. Yummy, Naruto on the other hand smirks and gets into his own stance, Vegeta's stance. When he first faced Goku, we'll see why, Naruto replied back. The two opposites had a stare off, waiting for the other to make the first move. Why? Naruto flexes his hands a few times with a smirk still plastered on his face, ready to drive his so-called weaker half into the pavement. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3-0 Street Battle Theme number 11. Naruto suddenly vanished in a burst of speed, as did Naruto in the surrounding area for a few seconds before what sounded like a sonic boom echoed throughout before Naruto and Naruto appeared with their forearms clashing against the other, pausing for a few seconds before they each unleashed an onslaught of punches and kick that appeared like blurs to the naked eye. Forest several more sonic booms echoed throughout the sky. The force behind their moves caused a strong breeze to brush trees back as well as other forms of debris to fly in different directions, the water in the river to rise up and the rock textures to crumble into piles of rubble. The assault continued for a few seconds until Naruto slipped into Naruto's defense and delivers an elbow uppercut into his chin, making his head jerk back in surprise. He recovers quickly and returns the hit with a right hook to Naruto's jaw. The two once again vanished, moving at speeds that would make me not own a case look slow in comparison, releasing shock waves around the area when they appeared again. Naruto is struck in the jaw by a high kick but retaliates by striking Naruto in the jaw with another right hook, and Naruto finished by driving a vicious low punch directly into the gut of his darker half. Naruto hunches over and cops from the punch while Naruto takes this opportunity to strike him in the face with a right haymaker that sent him plummeting into the forest as he crashed, dust kicked up into the air with Naruto descending downwards to his opponent. His eyes widened as a yellow ki blast headed towards him, stopping in midair and vanishes as the blast sailed past him. He appears on top of a rock structure, watching the attack explode and disperse until his senses flared up. Naruto turns around and sees another ki blast that was bigger than the last one. He for him and once again blurs away as it destroys the rock texture. He hops backwards a few times against the rocky terrain before taking to the areas. Naruto appears in a stance his other half was familiar with. Naruto crouches down, curls his fingers and places both his hands together at chest level facing the same direction so that the palm of one hand is on the back of the other. Light purple orb forms in his hand and hums to life as he gathered the energy for it. Naruto pauses in the air and brings his arms back with a blue orb gathering around his cupped hands. Take this Gallic gun. Naruto thrusts his hands forward and fires a fuchsia-colored beam upwards. Kamehameha. Naruto calls out and fires a Kamehameha wave downwards. The blue and purple beams descended towards one another and clashed, forming a blue and fuchsia-colored dome in the center that slowly expanded. A power struggle occurred as the two Super Saiyan pushed more energy into their attacks, making the dome of energy grow even more. It couldn't contain its form and it erupted into an explosion of energy. Naruto appeared behind him grinning, and the force behind it sent debris everywhere and also sent Naruto flying backwards and crashed into the side of a rock texture and bounced off off it, ah, he cried out, pain unaware that strikes him in the back with a backhand. Naruto descends to the ground and crashes, sliding to the end of another rock texture. He gets up on one knee while Naruto ascends towards him, grinning in a feral manner. Naruto hops back as the dark SAIYAN hits the ground with a ki-enhanced punch, causing a crater to form, and looks up to see Naruto back flipping through the terrain. Naruto pulls his hand out of the crater and takes off after Naruto. Said SAIYAN plants his feet onto the edge of a cliff and bounces off, flying towards Naruto, performing a dropkick, as did the darker half. Their attacks clashed, hitting them both directly under the jaw, and the two were wide-eyed. They separated and both landed on the ground opposite from one another, with their hair and clothes ruffling in the wind, and had to stare off. The two remained silent for a while until Naruto spoke up. Impressive, I guess you're as weak as I thought, he remarked, getting a smirk from Naruto. Funny, I could say the same to you. The smirk on his face disappeared and was replaced with serious one. But if it's all right with you, I'd like to skip the warm-up and get this over with. Yummy. Naruto grinned in a feral manner and nods in agreement. My thoughts exactly. Naruto's face scrunches up in concentration and his muscles bulge a little, resulting in his aura flaring up. Veins throbbed around his biceps, neck and temple as his power increased. He crossed his arms as his hair spiked up even more. Gret, the golden aura around Naruto flared up in an even more wild-like fashion, releasing a higher frequency sound-wise with a lightning aura arching around his body. His hair was even a deeper gold color and spiked up even more in a wild-like fashion, with a few bangs hanging down similar to Gohan's hairstyle, but with two bangs, with one being slightly shorter than the other. His muscle mass was a little more pronounced but not overly so. His skin tone was a lighter color as well as his clothes due to the increased energy output from the golden aura. His facial features grew more sharper and fiercer, with his eyes being sharper and more primal in appearance. Yummy. Naruto's eyes widened in awe as he saw his other half ascend to Super Saiyan 2 and then snaps out of it. Impressive, but anything you can do. Raises his arms up while gathering a huge amount of energy and releases it as he brings them down, ascending to Super Saiyan 2 as well. I can do as well, he declared. Now it was Naruto's eyes who widened in astonishment. You too? Naruto questioned, and his darker half snorted in annoyance. I told you this before, idiot. I have the same abilities as you, including the transformations you've obtained from training in the time chamber, he stated. Now enough stalling, let's get started. The two opposites dashed towards each other with their fists reared back and swing forward. When their fists collided, the force behind them emitted a shockwave so powerful that the ground underneath them couldn't handle the pressure and cratered under their form. The rock textures rumbled and a few collapsed under the force. Song ends. Meanwhile, outside of the actual waterfall of truth, Naruto meditative form was in the Super Saiyan 2 state, and the effects of the transformation resulted in the ground rumbling violently, the water rising, and the birds in the forest flew off due to the trees leaning backwards and shaking. Both B and Yujito were using their chakra to remain rooted onto the ground, covering their eyes with their arms on order to keep the debris out of their eyes. Unfortunately, the shockwave Naruto released from his form caused Yugito to lose her focus on her footing and was almost sent flying backwards, but a tentacle shoots out of his back and catches her in its coil. Don't fret, little knee, Uncle B won't let go of thee, he assured his niece. If I wasn't afraid of taking a one-way flight off the island right now, I'd be using him as a scratching post, she thought, and she was pulled towards him but ended up getting hit upside the head by a flying rocky tie, she cried out while Mad Itabi cringed. Ooh, that gonna leave a mark. Goku vs Android 19 theme. Graya. Why Naruto rushes at his foe and swings a left and right hook at Naruto, who was forced to evade them both before the dark sign unleashed a flurry of punches that made him block or evade while moving backward before he had a chance to recover. Why Naruto drove a knee strike into Naruto's stomach, causing him to gasp out in pain and hunch over. Yummy. Naruto raises his right arm up and delivers an elbow strike to his back and sends Naruto falling towards the ground. Said SAIYAN falls on all fours and slowly get up and leaps right back into the air to avoid getting drop-kicked into a crater caused by Naruto, who looks up at Naruto's retreating form before flying out of the rubble and stops in front of his other half before attempting to hit him with another knee strike that Naruto blocks with his own knee. Yummy. Naruto growls before smirking at his foe while red static emits around them. What's wrong? I thought you said we were going to skip the warm-up, he questioned, and Naruto smirks back. Sorry, force of habit. Naruto apologized before they backed off and lunged at each other again. Why Naruto swings a right hook but Naruto catches it. He attempts to do the same with his and get caught by his other half as well. They both growl as their arms interlocked and then deliver a series of simultaneous knee strikes as the attacks continued. Why Naruto takes this opportunity to deliver a headbutt right into Naruto's face. He cried out and releases the darker warrior from the grapple, holding his throbbing head, with Naruto taking this opportunity to attack him with a series of left and and right hooks into his torso. Naruto coughs up spit while Naruto grins as he continued with the assault. Naruto recovers quickly and catches the fists, much to the surprise of Yami. Naruto he gets him in the lower jaw with 2 knee strikes, stunning him, and finishes it off with a high knee strike to the temple and sends him flying and crashing into the edge of a cliff. The embedded dark sign grits his teeth and opens his eyes to see Naruto float towards him. That's more like it, he growled. He crosses his hands and pulls him back, freeing himself from the edge by releasing a burst of invisible ki and left a near circular shape in the cliff. They both breathe heavily as they floated close to each other and stop when they're nearly nose to nose and have a stare off. Their aura slowly hums to life and flares around them with static emitting around their forms. Naruto snarls in a challenging fashion while Naruto smiles back. The darker half frowns but returns the same grin. Sensed they were both starting to get serious and both let out a battle cry. They released their aura in a bright golden flash and continue the match with a series of punches and kick. While in the air they paused in their assault with their fists reared back and swung forward, delivering a bone-crushing blow to their jaws, and their heads snapped back at the same time. Naruto recovers faster than his opposite and unleashes a series of punches upon Naruto's stomach and flares up his aura as he continued on with the attack. He then hits with a right hook across the jaw, knees him hard in the gut, and then delivers a reverse elbow strike into his neck. Yami grins at the fact that he was gaining the upper hand so far, but his eyes widened when Naruto grabbed his leg and swung him around for several and threw him to the ground. Naruto flips and lands on his feet and looks up only to see Naruto gone. What the, he wondered before his senses went off, and turns his head to the left and instantly blocks a right punch with his forearms, courtesy of Naruto, who then pushes him back with a flurry of rapid punches. Naruto had some trouble blocking and evading some of the punches that got through his defense. As Naruto went on the attack, he pulled back and delivers a mid-kick into Naruto's torso, making his eyes bug out. Naruto smirk at the successful hit and pulls back again, channeling some ki into his fist in order to deliver a powerful blow. Naruto senses the power behind the physical attack, and when Naruto swings his fist forward, he vanishes in a burst of speed. Naruto curses as Naruto appears behind him and smirks. The teenage SAIYAN freezes on the spot as his darker half aimed both palms at his chest with a ball of yellow ki and fires. A flash of yellow forms around the area as Naruto was sent flying into a rock texture, and a blazing explosion occurs. Naruto stays floating in midair waiting for the dust clear. When it does, a hole is revealed in the rocky wall and there was no sign of Naruto, but he knew better than to believe he defeated his other half with an attack as weak as that. He watched intently for any sign on his foe, and his eyes widened as he saw a ball of ki hums to life, revealing Naruto's form, and he fires a ki blast at his darker half. He retaliates and fires a ki blast at his opponent. The energy blasts descend towards the other, and once they clash, a dome of energy forms at the colliding blasts. Naruto rises out of the hole, pushing ki into the colliding energy techniques, and continued to push forward until he was close to the dome. Yellow static surges through as they push more power into their attacks. Naruto grips his teeth as he continued to push forward and add more energy, as did Yami. Naruto, oh no you don't, I will not allow you to come out victorious, he swore as he pushed more energy into his move. Naruto does the same, resulting in the dome growing and glowing like a miniature sun. The two warriors both let out a battle cry as the dome of energy was now the size of a cage tower, covering the entire area before erupting into an explosion so great that the entire area was coated in a golden light. Song ends. When the flash cleared, the entire area was in ruins. Rubble and chunks of rocks scattered, trees were uprooted, and smoke rose from the debris. Dangling from a cliff was Naruto, and from his appearance his outfit was ripped and torn in several places and was sporting cuts and bruises bleeding slightly around his arms, legs, chest, and parts of his face. Groans, man, I never would have thought that my dark side could be so vicious. I feel like I just fought through an army of Baiju, he muttered before he felt himself being pulled up from over the edge and is now face to face with Yami. Naruto, who was also sporting the same amount of damage as his opposite, but the difference was that he was smiling in a calm yet dangerous way and was holding him up by the wrist. The dark SAIYAN stood up over the edge with Naruto still in his grasp, smirking. He then spun around and threw Naruto over his shoulder and into a wall of rock. Naruto cries out in pain as he hit the wall hard enough to be embedded and leave an imprint around his form. Naruto brings his right arm forward, extending his index and middle finger out, and fired 5 rings of energy at Naruto's trapped form. They bind his wrists, ankles, and the last one binds him around the throat and closes up slightly, making Naruto release a choking sound. He then vanishes and appears before his trapped brother with a smug expression. What's the matter, not winning as easily as you thought you would, he taunted at Naruto's, who was glaring back at him. I never said this would be. Naruto chokes out, getting a snort from his other Half HMPH, you don't get it, do you? You're not gonna be winning at all, he remarked, and then slaps him twice across the face with a forehand and backhand, resulting in Naruto growling in an angry fashion. Why? Naruto returns the expression, burying his canines. What them? Are you pissed off at feeling trapped and humiliated by your better half? You're not my better half, Naruto snapped back, only to gasp out in pain as why Naruto drove his knee into the Saiyan's stomach. Yes, I am the real you, he declared, and punches him in the jaw. You hits him with a left hook, R hits him with a right jab, nothing hits him with another left jab but a fake. He unleashes an onslaught of punches and knee strikes to the face, chest and torso of Naruto simultaneously until Naruto coughs up blood and he stops the assault. Look at you, the last of our kin, the legacy of a mighty race of warriors that brought fear to our enemies, reduced to a soft-hearted idealistic fool by his master. Why? Naruto spat at the ground in disgust. You have done nothing but play the role of hero to bunch of insignificant insects who could care less if you lived or died, and it makes me sick to see you act the way you do. A dark expression formed on his face as he stared at the fallen form of his other half. No more, I will not allow you to continue this charade any longer. The time has come for me to take my rightful place as the king of this body. I will not allow myself to hindered by the beliefs of a dead man. Your days are over. Every breath you take is an insult to my honor and pride as a warrior. He brings him hand up and wraps it around Naruto's throat. I will break you, Naruto. I will crush you until you are nothing but a memory, and then I will do what you failed to do. I will bring our people back to glory. I will destroy anyone that gets in my way, and if I'm feeling generous I might even spar some of the people you care about, especially that girl Yugito May, and maybe even your sister and mother. A perverse smile takes form on his face. I might consider keeping them as slaves and convince them to help me revive the Saiyan race once I've conquered this mud ball of a planet. Naruto's eyes snapped open when he heard this and snarls in a primal fashion. His muscles flex up as he attempts to pull himself out of his prison. Much to why Naruto's shock and disbelief, his aura flares to life and he breaks out of the prison, forcing why Naruto to move back from the power input. Congratulations, my dark half, you've officially pissed me off. His aura grew and released a shockwave so powerful that it sent dust and wind flying everywhere. You can threaten me all you like, but when you threaten the lives of those I care about, then all bets are off, he roared. Why? Naruto got a good look into his other half's eyes and realized that they no longer held the same compassion and fearlessness. Now they expressed nothing but primal rage and fury, and now knew that Naruto was out to destroy him, to crush him until he was nothing but dust in the wind. A bead of sweat dropped from his brow as he now understood that he just freed the beast from his cage and he was its current target. Something tells me that I've just pushed my luck.